Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Patrick and I'm very glad you're here. I just wanted to talk about today something that I'm going through right now, a process of change that I'm going through that I felt would be relevant to share. I figured that if I'm going through it, maybe other people are going through it as well. And it's that feeling of completely losing your identity during a spiritual awakening. You know, this is an ongoing thing that I've been dealing with. I had a Kundalini awakening about 2 years ago, where that eruption of energy, I'm sure many of you are familiar with it, in my body from the spine going up, and since then I've been on this process of really trying to discover who I am. Part of that process of discovery has been finding out that every time I find something and I say, okay, great, this is it, this is who I am, it's not the case. So, you know, 2 years ago, when this first happened and I went through my spiritual awakening, I thought I was enlightened. I read a few books on Buddhism, a lot of books on law of attraction, New Age metaphysics, and because it made sense to me on an intellectual level, I thought that I was done. I thought the process was over, I understood everything. And just because I can understand things on a higher level and I'm in contact with other dimensions and frequencies and stuff like that, that I thought I was done. I thought I had made it. Thought that I learned all there is to know. But all the while, my diet sucked. I had no motivation. I had no drive. I had crippling anxiety. So, in hindsight, I'm seeing that I really wasn't enlightened whatsoever, and that this is an ongoing process of discovery. My perception of it is as we awaken, we start to lose these labels that we identified with. I've gone through so many different labels in my life. I remember identifying as a coffee enthusiast, where I was just really into coffee, and if somebody didn't like a particular type of coffee, I was like, oh man, what's wrong with that guy? You know, the dark roast is where it's at. But on top of that, I was also playing the role of hipster, indie head, kind of like this beach bum vibe, where I collected vinyl records and smoked a bunch of weed. And I'm finding that in all those roles I was playing, I was acting in ways that I believed I should have acted in that role. So when I'm really into indie music, I feel like, well, somebody who's super into indie music would smoke a lot of weed, so maybe I'll try that. And I smoked a lot of weed, you know? And the more I awaken on this path, the more I see. It's like, no, that's not it. That's not it either. That's not it. And I deeply resonate with Ram Dass. Many of you may resonate with him as well, because he's just so accessible for so many people on this path. But his whole teaching is to play your roles, but not identify with them. Meaning that while I was in the coffee enthusiast stage, that's okay. It's okay to like coffee. It's okay to be a coffee enthusiast. But if I identify with that role and I start to judge people based on that role, based on what kind of coffee they like, what kind of coffee I like, and I'm not joking around. I really took this seriously a few years ago. It seems very trivial now, and part of awakening is seeing how so much of what you were resonating with and enjoying really doesn't mean much, you know? It's just something that helps us to validate ourselves. And I was validating myself through coffee, through collecting vinyl records, which, again, nothing is wrong with any of this. But the problem is that I was choosing to identify with something that I wasn't. And on this path, we start to lose identifications, and that is a challenging process. And I'm not speaking to have this all figured out. I'm not speaking from a space of, oh, I've figured out who I am, so now let me help others figure out who they are. No, I'm speaking because I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't. And the thing is that I feel such great peace when I accept I don't know what I'm doing. I feel such peace when I accept I don't know who I am. It's the pressure to find out who I am that really makes the anxiety flare up and makes me furiously turn to any sort of book I can find or teaching I can find, something to say, that's it, I figured it out. I'm finding that every single time I say I figured it out, I have not figured a single thing out. So it's a pitfall on the spiritual path. I'm not blaming myself for it. I know that so many people go through it as well, this feeling of, oh, I know everything. Bro, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. And that's okay. And that's the whole point, is that we have to be humble. We have to have humility. We're conditioned so deeply to feel like we have to have such a control on everything, that we have to know everything and be who we think we should be, who society expects us to be. That's just not the case. That's why we're here. We're here to understand that we're not here to be anybody but ourselves. And so, I don't know, it's a crazy part of the process for sure, because you try to resurrect old things that you were interested in. Like, I've tried to go back to coffee and it doesn't work for me anymore. My body is so sensitive as my vibration raises that any caffeine, anything like that, just spikes me up. And then same thing, I try to listen to music I used to listen to, it just doesn't hit the spot. And if I have an attachment to those things, if I have an attachment to coffee, an attachment to certain music, then that's just going to cause me suffering when it doesn't work for me anymore. What we need to cultivate is a sense of non-attachment, which is so difficult. It really is. And again, I don't know how to be non-attached. I'm attached to a lot of different things still. So it's important to remember that just because we go through these spiritual transitions and we can kind of understand things at a higher level and know how reality works, that we don't have work to do. Like, I have so much work to do, you guys. And just starting this YouTube channel is illuminating all the work that I have to do. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just feeling very grateful. That's for sure. I feel grateful that I don't know what I'm doing, and I feel grateful for the blessings that I have. But as we lose our sense of identification, I'm seeing as I lose my sense of identification with things, it leaves this void-like state, like, well, now what, you know? Now what? I don't know. But that's okay, because the more that I claim to know and the more I try to grab a hold on things, the less and less that works out. I'm seeing that more and more each day, the less and less that works out. But I just wanted to share this today, feeling like, if you're feeling like you're losing your identity, you don't know who you are, hey, I'm there too. I feel like that's a necessary, I know this is a necessary process in the journey, and that's okay. It's gonna be all right. We're gonna be okay. So I thank you so much for stopping by, just to listen to my quick thoughts that I had. If you resonated with anything in here, please feel free to subscribe. I'm new to YouTube. I'm just having a good time filming these videos, getting my thoughts out there. If this resonates with you, please subscribe. I already said that, right? All right.